Hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Abundance Show. Today's topic is understanding mindfulness. We have Namrata Chakhaiyar, who is a corporate executive turned wellness and mindfulness coach. She has been practicing healing and mindfulness for the last 10 years during her stay in Dhaka, Budapest, and Bangalore. Namrata has also worked in School of Hope in Bangladesh as a board member and in Children's Hospital and Home in Budapest. Previously, she worked at Wipro in the software and HR fields for 13 years. Her journey during her successful career in corporate India was extremely fulfilling, but something prompted her to make a sudden switch from a corporate life into the realms of mind and the spiritual. Today, let us understand what mindfulness is about. Welcome once again, Namrata.
Thank you, Satish. Thank you for the lovely introduction. And yeah, happy to be here.
Thank you. So, Namrata, let's begin by asking you this: how would you explain mindfulness, and to an uninitiated person, a person who is a lay person, how would you explain mindfulness?
Mhm. Okay, so mindfulness can be explained in terms of just being present to life and what life presents to us. Just being with the moments, okay, from one moment to the other. How is it that we can be completely present? Okay, so it is otherwise what happens is that we've seen that in our normal routine, we just go from one place to the other, doing this, doing that, running our errands, chasing our goals. And what happens is that in the process, when we are going from when we are frantic, when we are restless, and we're not even aware of it, and we just go from one moment to the other, but we are involved in doing, okay, doing things, okay, then that makes us restless, and it takes away the peace from our minds. Okay, so when we do the follow the mindfulness practices, okay, we are in the moment. And when we are completely present to that moment, um, the stress part completely, uh, you know, mm, completely gets resolved, and we are at peace, even while we are carrying out our daily routine and the regular activities that we do. We are aware of what we are doing. Okay, so it is that process of being aware in the moment, being aware and alive to the experience that we are going through. Okay, so it is about that. Now let me give you an example. If you see a small baby, for example, uh, the baby is only bothered about the smaller things, the things that the baby is wants to do, happy in the moment. Okay, so children are naturally in the moment. It is only when we grow up, okay, and that's when we completely we try to do multiple things together, many things together, try to do achieve many things, many goals simultaneously. And that is what creates stress in us. Okay, so for example, if you see a young couple who's in love, for example, okay, they're so present to each other, right? They look into each other's eyes, they talk to each other, they're so aware about the underlying feelings, underlying thought processes of each other. They're so alive to each other, right? So those are the mindful moments when you're alive to oneself, alive to the others, to the needs of the others, right? Just the other day, we just went for an outing with friends after a very long time, because this is the time when the pandemic has given us some respite. So we just went there, and it is like we discussed all the simple aspects of life there. We chatted, chit chatted, we laughed so much over silliest of things. And those are the probably the memorable moments. And what makes it so memorable, because we were there in the moment. We were there for each other, alive to each other's needs. We were happy, right? So it is that art. And that art, we forget that art as we grow up. It has to be cultivated. It is not something which will something that we've forgotten about, and something which can be easily cultivated, okay, through some of the practices that are there as part of mindfulness.
Very interesting. So what you're saying is like being present to the moment, cherishing the moment, and I think what
Yes.
you say about being with friends and family, those are the times when time literally freezes for you, and especially for when you meet the same set of people again and again, probably you lose that sense of being in the present. But especially when you catch up with friends or with your own family members in a different setting, I think that's an opportunity for us to be mindful all the more, and it helps you to actually eliminate all the thoughts from your mind and all the worries, all the
Yeah.
commitments that are there, and time literally freezes for you. I think that's what is the space of mindfulness that you're talking about.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Otherwise,
yeah,
if you see, we are always thinking about the past, and we think about, oh, this had happened once upon a time. And especially in these stressful times, and the gadgets, the electronic gadgets that we have, that also takes away a lot of our attention. For example, we've all experienced that, when we are in our email and we want to respond, and then we see a notification in our mobile. And then when we go to notification, there's another notification which says about some old picture of some holiday, and then we get into that old picture, and then there is something else. So it it is it is a loop that we constantly are being subjected to because of this, and that is making life even more difficult for us to be mindful of anything. It's taking away that peace of mind, and it's adding so much to our stress in the process. And only by being aware, okay, in a very non-judgmental, non-striving way, if we are just present in the moment, okay, it's a different feeling of being relaxed, of being stress free, tension free. Yeah.
very nice, very nice. So the next question to you would be this: what would be the what would you say to someone to explain to them the difference between meditation and mindfulness?
Okay, so we can't completely say that meditation and mindfulness are two different things. They are, in fact, mutually exclusive. They're not mutually exclusive. Okay, there is an overlap between the two. So let me give you an example of mindfulness. Okay, so it is something like being completely aware in the moment. For example, if you are riding a bicycle, right, or on a lane in one of the roads, and while you know that you have to drive ahead, right, you know where you have to go. However, you are aware of what's overtaking you from the right, and what's overtaking you from the left, and what's following you from behind. So you are aware of everything around you, and you're present in the moment, right? And you are mindful of everything which is around you. However, when it comes to meditation is something that is you lose that sense of time. It's transcendental, right? So it's like you focusing on nothingness, right? it can take you to that space of nothingness. So yeah, it's something like you completely get lost in time. I remember my son once, and this incident I can never forget, when he was in grade 5. And so one day in the parents teacher meeting, his teacher was saying that we have to be very watchful of your son, when especially when he's in the carpentry workshop, because because he's so involved in the in the carpentry work that he does, that he completely loses track of time, and then we have to go and we have to get him from there. So that is a timelessness, that sense of timelessness. And when I asked my son as to what happened, why didn't you go back into your class when after the period was over, so he said, I completely lost track of time, mom. So that is, it's transcendental, right? So that's
Yeah.
meditation, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so we can't say that both are mutually exclusive,
Mm.
because in mindfulness, there are a lot of meditation practices, right? So while meditation, normally, we're sitting in one place and we are kind of trying to focus, trying to um, do a meditation. Mindfulness is something that, when you're walking, also you can do. When you're eating, also you can practice mindfulness. Whatever you're doing, if you practice mindfulness, you uh, you are not doing, but you are being. Okay, you being there with that experience of that moment, when you're riding a bicycle, when you're taking a shower, when you're brushing your tooth, when you're eating your food, right? So that is mindfulness. So that can be like broadly classified as the difference between mindfulness and meditation. Within mindfulness, there are a couple of meditations that we do. Again, like I said, there is a you know there is a sitting meditation, there is a walking meditation, there's a, so various kinds of meditations which are a part of mindfulness, to enhance the capacity of being more mindful. Yeah.
Present. Yeah.
Yeah, more
Nice.
present. Yeah.
Nice. So, how would you say mindfulness would help a working professional?
Okay, so like I was explaining, that when we are present to our experience, okay, we are also present to what is going on within us. Okay, so we are present to the thoughts, okay, which we are thinking. We are present to the emotions that we are feeling. We are more awake to the sensations that we are feeling in the body, right? So when we do these practices, when we are become more aware of our thoughts, our emotions, obviously it leads to good well-being system to support us, right? So if we are all healthy, and we are mindful, we are mindful of what we are eating, we are mindful of when we are sleeping, we are basically mindful of the entire lifestyle, right, that we are leading, which leads to a good health. Okay, so when in a workplace, in a setup of workplace, when people are well, obviously there's a direct link to the productivity. And not only that, you can really prevent burnout, right? Because you're more aware of your thoughts and of your emotions. You're more aware of your needs, right? You're more aware of how much of, as an employee, how much of work can you take on, okay, and can how much of work you can take up before getting burnt out, right? Not only that, you're so aware of where to draw the line, where to say no to your to the supervisors or to your colleagues, you exactly know because you're so aware of yourself, right? So not only it is good health and elimination of stress and burnout, thus promoting good health. It's not only about that, but it's also about self-regulation, and not blaming our supervisors. Okay, it's because of the supervisors given me so much of work, I'm getting burnt out. So it's not about that. Once you're self-aware, you can say, and how you will also be guided as to how to say no to people, how to set those boundaries, okay, in the work environment, when to say no, and you'll be more present to your self-care, right? So that is as far as an individual is concerned. um, when it comes to teams, for example, what happens is that, because we're so aware of our own thoughts, our own needs, our own feelings, we also develop awareness for the needs of my teammates, right? Or the teammates who are working along with me. So, like for example, just envision there's a team meeting where, staff team meeting where the entire staff is asked by the supervisor as to how each one of them is feeling. Just imagine that, you start the day with the meeting with that kind of a question where everyone takes some time to reflect on how they're feeling, and they share. And just imagine a scenario where there are a lot of disturbance, there are a lot of disagreements in the team. However, there is a pause. Everyone takes a pause before speaking their minds out. Okay, so imagine, how much, it helps. Mindfulness helps, if you are present to the needs of your team members, and if you're able to self regulate yourself, and you understand your own emotions better, how much it helps there. Apart from that, even as a leader or as a supervisor, it really helps because, um, it directly helps in enhancing our ability of being more kind, more compassionate, and more um, empathetic, right? And imagine if a leader is, develops those abilities of being more kind, more compassionate, more um, empathetic towards their team members. Just imagine what happens to the productivity in the workplace, right? Apart from that, mindfulness can also help, not only the like the corporates or the SMEs. It can help any, especially the healthcare workers, okay, who are so stressed. And we all know how during COVID the healthcare workers were, they really went through difficult times,
Yeah.
right? So if they had known, they were aware of this thing called mindfulness, that would have really helped them at that point of time. If they were practicing mindfulness, I'm sure many of them would have. Also, the educators, for example, the educators are, in the universities and uh, the schools.
Schools.
They are a stressed lot, right? They've just been through a system where which they've never seen earlier. The control that they had over their students, okay, in the classroom, that completely went away. And in the online system, I heard cases of students actually going into social media during the class, and during the class, And like the teacher does not have any way of knowing how much the child has absorbed the learning, right? So that puts them absolutely out of control, right? So it can really help, to again, being aware, with the mindfulness practices, it helps them a lot. And then the other areas where the traffic police, for example, the lawyers, so these are the people who are really stressed, truly stressed. And mindfulness, the caregivers, right? The caregivers in hospitals, at home, right? So these people can really benefit from mindfulness, from practicing mindfulness. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Yeah, true. I think it's for everyone to realize, and even before it comes to a stage where the stress gets too much on you, to
Yes.
inculcate this, understand it, and make it a daily practice. So, if I would ask you this, any simple or practical exercise that you can suggest to someone who feels stressed, what would you say?
Okay, so are you talking about the workplace scenario or
Yeah,
generally? Yeah,
generally,
workplace.
generally.
Generally. Okay. So, so no matter which situation one is in, one has to know that, if we take breaks, okay, take breaks often, okay, and during these breaks, if we breathe, just pay attention to our breathing. That's the simplest exercise that I can suggest to them, even for people who are not initiated into the practice. um, yeah, so just observe the sensations, okay, that the breath, how the breath is going inside your nostrils, and just observe how it goes into your lungs and into your belly. Just that itself will bring you back into the present moment, right? Or you can just pay attention to where your feet is touching the ground, okay, that gives you a nice comfortable feeling of being grounded. Or you can just pay attention to the place where your, if you're sitting on a chair, where your hips are touching the uh, chair, right? Or if you're just walking, just pay attention to where your feet is touching the ground. Or if you're just looking at a flower, in our business, we've just forgotten to appreciate, things, simple things like this. Just observe that, be like a small child, where, you can just appreciate the leaf, the petal of a flower, a bird, okay. The more you're aligned with nature, obviously it de-stresses you. So these are those very, very simple things that you can incorporate, right? Yeah, apart from that, obviously, even the normal daily routine that you're carrying out, when you're brushing your teeth, try just brushing, being with a brush, and when you're eating, just be with the food that you're having, and see
Yeah,
how is the texture of the food, or how, what is the
the
taste,
taste.
what is the
Yeah,
smell, what is the, it brings you more into the present moment, right? So these are some of the
nice.
factors. The more we incorporate these small things, okay, we are more observant of these small little things, but they really make a lot of difference, because of the benefits of mindfulness. It takes you to a completely stress-free zone.
Nice, very nice. Practically said. I think so. If one has to learn something on these lines, what are the steps that one should take to learn, imbibe the practices that you teach, Namrata?
Um, yeah. So again, something similar to what I said earlier. Um you know, be pay attention to your routine, right? Your routine will, when you are doing the small things, and don't try to be mindful throughout the day. You'll go crazy. However, just take one activity and just practice that. Okay, so yeah, when you're taking a shower, for example, just be with that experience of taking a shower, right? When you go for your evening walks, just be with that experience of, rather than putting on music and doing other things. Just be with that moment. It can be really very relaxing. Yeah, so yeah, these
Wow.
are the small tips that I would like to give everyone. Yeah.
Nice, very nice. So thanks
Yeah.
for that wonderful tips. I think these are all very practical tips, and I like the fact that you said that don't be mindful throughout the day. I mean, in the sense that you said don't be like so obsessed with it that I want to be
Yeah.
like mindful now, next moment, every moment. I think yeah, it's a very good tip that you gave, and yeah, very simple ways. And I think it's a topic that one needs to learn and experience it. Probably one of the workshops that you're doing shortly, some of our friends will be there in that workshop to attend
Yeah.
it and experience it firsthand for ourselves. The good
Yeah.
work that you do, Namrata.
Yeah.
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 So thank you for your time, Namrata. Once again, wonderful conversing with you. All the very best to you, and keep up the good work that you're doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Satish. Thank you.
These days, popping pills for chronic ailments have become the norm. The trend of over medication and self medication are getting far too alarming. Medications are supposed to help us, not hurt us. No amount of external intervention can help unless the body heals itself. Our body is known to be an abode of astonishing self healing powers. The immune system of our body is sophisticated, and the magical recovery ways of the body is much beyond the common man's comprehension. Holistic approach to health is becoming extremely relevant today. We need to empower our body's natural healing powers by adopting lifestyle changes for staying fit and healthy. And there should be minimum need for any medical intervention. Today's progressive wellness experts are working closely to ensure that focus is shifted decisively towards preventive healthcare so that people can enjoy the fruits of good health for longer. Chronic diseases and the so-called lifestyle diseases can be prevented and in most cases also reversed. We need to focus on educating and steering people towards an integrated approach to health and life and encourage them to make healthy lifestyle changes. Let's take responsibility to learn about our body and our health. On this channel, we'll be conversing with some amazing experts who are focused on optimal health, improved quality of life, and general well-being for all concerned. More power to holistic health.